the channel. This is Slade and Paid here, and in today's video, we're going to be reading some spooky, scary stories. Okay, so for the first story is my boyfriend sleep talk for the first time. It says, since it's spooky season, I thought I might share this one with y'all. I'm 19 female, have been with my boyfriend 21 male for over 4 years now. Throughout our relationship, he told me he keeps experiencing sleep paralysis and that it became more and more frequent. He had maybe 1 or 2 the first 3 years, but last year, they kept getting worse. We are both students, and for the past 2 years, he's been living in a rented apartment with a good friend of his. Sometimes I spend the night there as well. One time in May, he told me he experienced sleep paralysis again, and that he was aware and awake, but wasn't able to move or say anything, like his lips were glued together. He said he tried to scream my name to wake me up so I can help him, but nothing ever came out his mouth. He also mentioned that he kept seeing in one of the corners of the big room a black shadow that made him feel nauseous. He eventually got out of it and went back to bed. Next day, I was still there. He asked me to stay with him in case something happened again, because he's starting to get a little bit scared. I tried to stay awake in case something happened, but I think I immediately fell asleep, LOL. So now this is how I was awoken in the middle of the night. I heard some sounds and immediately opened up my eyes. Here was my boyfriend laying on the side with his back at me, resting his head on one hand and saying random stuff in a language I've never ever heard. Looking at the exact same corner that he mentioned about when he had sleep paralysis. The weirdest thing is, it seemed like he was having an actual conversation. He would talk and then stop like if somebody was answering. And then he would talk again and so on. I was like, what the heck is he doing? And called his name. He immediately stopped talking, and then the heaviest silence filled the room for what seemed an eternity. Then he started hysterically laughing for a few seconds and then passed out of nowhere. I checked to see if he was okay. He started snoring, so at least I knew he fell back to sleep. I wasn't able to sleep that night. I turned around and cried until I saw the light outside. Next day, I told him about it, and he apologized for scaring me. I said that it's not his fault, but it was clear that he felt bad. We asked his friend if he heard anything. He said no, which made me feel like I maybe was just dreaming. But then he added that he woke up as well that night, but wasn't able to move. Felt like he couldn't breathe, and claiming that he saw the weirdest shadow in the corner of his room. The thing is, the apartment was consecrated. It's a tradition that at the start of every year, everyone gets their house consecrated. They also have icons on every wall of the apartment from the owners who left them there. When they came by to take the rent, my boyfriend told them about the incident. They called a priest and they consecrated the place again. He moved back in at the start of October for university. We'll see how it goes. Now that would have spooked me too. Okay, so our next story is, I don't know if this qualifies as paranormal, but I want to share it because I can't explain it. The day I was biking in my neighborhood late in the day to clear my head, I had a very bad day. It was about 11 p.m. in Norway. So at this time of the year, it's dark and cold. On the road up to my house, you can either bike around a hill and use a long way home, or you can go up a stairway and come directly into the neighborhood, which is shorter. I chose the stairs because I was tired and just wanted to sleep. As I was walking up the stairs, I had to carry my bike. As I said, I was tired, so I dropped my bike down the stairs and began to cry because it was the last thing I wanted to happen. Here comes the weirdest part. It was dark and cold, and no other person in sight. I'm certain I was alone. As I'm walking down the stairs to pick up my bike, a woman dressed in all white comes out of nowhere and picks up my bike. Asked me if I need help. I was so tired and just said yes, and mumbled, "Can you carry it up the stairs for me?" As I said this, I must have blacked out, because when I turned around to walk up the stairs, my bike was placed at the top of the stairs, standing perfectly, and the person was gone. I was baffled and shocked at what had just happened, but I didn't feel scared or anything. I got this feeling of comfort and I was happy. I had a bad day, but now I was happy and didn't feel terrible. I'm an atheist and don't believe in anything higher than me, but now I'm wondering if this was a guardian angel or something. Let me know if you have encountered something like this. I've never encountered anything like that, but somebody was definitely watching out for that person that day. Okay, so the next story, they seen something before their grandmother passed. In 2017, my grandmother was in a hospital for a cyst in her abdomen. I would say that wrong. My parents recently returned from the hospital, and we were all sitting around the dining table discussing my grandmother's condition. My dad said that she was stable, but not entirely out of danger since the doctor said that her kidneys are at risk of failing. Finding the conversation a tad hard to listen to, I got up and was walking back to my room when all of a sudden, at the corner of my eye, I saw a small, smoky, skeleton-like apparition. I don't know what that is. Making its way into my grandmother's room. It was maybe 8 feet tall and was floating at ground level. Shocked, I immediately ran into my grandmother's room saying that I saw something going in. Not finding anything, I brushed it off as a hallucination. Over the next few days, my grandmother's condition worsened. Her kidneys failed, and she succumbed to her alignment later. I talked to my grandmother's sister about it. She told me it was an omen of death. Why I saw it is still a question. Alright, so this is our next story. I had awesome parents who let me sleep in the living room on weekend nights when I was very young because my sister was a light sleeper and I could stay up until dawn. But of course, I always ended up sleeping on the couch because Nick at night made me tired. So one night I wake up to the prickly feeling, like an instinct, just bolted into a sitting position and stared out the front window. We lived in rural Georgia, so you can imagine the magnitude of trees. In perfect light cast from the moon, I saw a silhouette of someone in the tree. The family dog dashes to the window and is snarling into the glass. Terrified, I ran into my parents' room and tried to explain to my parents that there is a strange person outside. Dad grabs something defensive and darts outside with the dog to beat the wax off the hothead. I tremble in my mama's arms until Dad comes home and says he saw no one and to go to bed. I decide to sleep in my regular room. I feel like my sister asked you what happened. Dad is making regular rounds in the house with a cup of coffee. We're all still and I finally think, I can sleep. Nope, I notice the man outside my window. From what I can see in the moonlight, he gives me a shh signal and runs away. Just turns around to run a straight line away. I swear I couldn't stop crying for what felt like hours. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed our little scary stories. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.
Everybody loving the vibe. You can't fuck up the mood. You can't fuck up the mood. Yeah. Think I all-star players. How the fuck we gon' lose? How the fuck we gon' lose? Yeah. I got 5 bitches to choose. Fuck them all in a row.